Hello and welcome. I want to thank all of you for being here today for our press conference to introduce Gavin Peterson as head coach of the Utah women's basketball program. We'll open today's press conference with some introductory comments from Mark Harlan and then have some introductory comments from Coach Peterson before we then open it up to the media for questions and answers for Gavin. And Mark will be available afterwards if anybody has any questions for Mark. So with that, I'd like to introduce Director of Athletics, Mark Harlan.
Thank you, PK. Appreciate that. First of all, can we acknowledge PK's outfit today? It's usually casual Fridays around here today, but thank you to everyone that's here today. Forgive my bifocals as I get myself organized. Thanks to the staff that's here. Thanks to the media that's here. Thanks to the members of the community, our supporters that are here today. This is a really special day for a lot of different reasons. And let me start first and foremost by giving a massive salute and a thank you to Lynn Roberts. Lynn and I think we became closer than maybe I have with a lot of other head coaches. Maybe our personalities were somewhat similar. We really worked closely together through the years. And I really saw her passion and her drive, and I knew early on that Lynn was going to take this program to special places. And the journey with Lynn is one I'll never forget. The journey with Caitlin will be a journey that I'll never forget. They will remain incredible friends. We were texting and giving each other grief just last night. And I just really appreciate Lynn for everything that she's given this program. Just these remarkable student athletes that she and her team have recruited. It's a special group, and I just want to wish Lynn the very, very best. I don't know if I'm going to buy Spark season tickets because it's a little bit away, but I know that I'll be going to Spark games, and I think there's many people in this room here today that will be watching her very closely. So thank you, Lynn, for everything that you've done. I know she was in LA last night, introduced there, and I'm sure she's watching right now. So thank you for everything that you've done for this program. Speaking of this program, when you go through something like this, which is, I'll be very candid, the first time in my career that I've ever experienced a coach having this type of opportunity when the season has started. And it's the nature of college basketball on the women's side. The seasons don't sync up. The professional and the college don't sync up. You see a lot of these athletes that get drafted in the WNBA, and then their college season ends and they're playing. It's what it is, and the great news is the growth of the game has been extraordinary. We've certainly experienced that here in Utah. So when Lynn informed Charmel Green and myself that she had the opportunity, she was very transparent about it. It happened fast. And when she said she was going to accept the job last weekend, you have that moment of, oh gosh, I kept thinking of our seniors and I kept thinking of the team. But then my mind started immediately going to the gentleman on my left and your right. And, I've gotten to know Gavin through the years. And I've seen him grow. I've seen him be a remarkable partner to Lynn and a real strategic thinker, and really, an outstanding coach. But what I really appreciate is the kind of man he is, the kind of father he is. Hi guys, the kind of husband he is, and also just how he leads these young women. And so it was not a real difficult decision, I'll just say that. And Charmel Green, who's here today, and I want to give Charmel a lot of credit as our Chief Operating Officer and Direct Oversight of Women's Basketball. She's been a huge lean-in administrator for this program for a number of years. And before I could finish the sentence, she and I were at the same place. And so I decided, why do we need to do interim? There's no point. You know who it is. You know who he is, most importantly. And it just made perfect sense for him to be our next head coach. So with that being said, Karen, welcome to this adventure of being a head coach's spouse as we go into this. And I appreciate you guys and everything you've been. You girls have grown, obviously, every year. And look at your dad. We were just talking before walking in the curtain, the moves and the decisions and the things that you guys have done. So I hope you're very proud of our new coach of the women's basketball program, and I'd like to introduce him, Gavin Peterson. Coach.
Well, wow. Thank you all for being here. It truly means a lot. It's been a wild few days, but I believe things are starting to settle in, and that's a good thing. I'd like to thank, first of all, President Randall, Mark Harlan, Charmel Green, for their support and belief in me to coach this team and lead this program forward. I've invested a lot into this program over the last 10 seasons, so I'm grateful I get to continue to do so as its head coach. I also want to thank the community, the fans, and alumni for their outpour of support over the last few days. It's been remarkable to hear from my former players at all the institutions that I've been at. I've heard from alumni here, some that I've coached and some that I haven't, and it's been very special to hear from them. I do want to take a moment to thank Lynn Roberts. I've been by her side for 12 seasons, and we've accomplished a lot together. She has always allowed me to be very hands-on with our program in many different areas, and I'm extremely proud of what we have built together here at Utah. Her guidance and leadership has prepared me for this moment. She is not just a friend, she is family to us. Speaking of family, pretty cool to have my mom and dad here all the way from Hawaii. It was planned months ago, so just kind of surreal that they get to see all this happen in front of them. To my wife, Karen, thank you for all you do, not just for me, but for our family. You motivate me, you support me, you allow me to continue to pursue my goals and dreams. I will suggest, though, Karen, do not sit next to Mark during games, because you're going to get him in trouble, because she yells at referees so much that I hear her during the games. So we got to keep him out of trouble. So, you good? Love you. Brea, Brooklyn, you're welcome as you get to miss school today. Thank you for both being who you are. Daddy loves you forever and ever, no matter what. Thank you for keeping me in my place. Now to our current team, our current coaching staff, and support staff. Thank you for showing me the confidence you have in me. That's been on display over the last couple of days, and I cannot thank you enough for that. My promise to you is you guys will get the best from me each and every day. Despite change, everything that we have worked for and have talked about is still right there in front of us. I'm extremely excited about this group and this team. Our core principles, our foundation, they're intact. We will rely on each other and lean in on each other this season as we continue the journey together. My responsibility is to step in and provide that stability to our program, which needs that right now, and we will continue to support our student athletes. That is our main focus, and our attention is on tonight's game. From a basketball standpoint, I cannot wait to settle into this. You will all get to see the same brand of Utah basketball, one in which our players and coaches have worked hard over the years to cultivate. We will continue to be an unselfish team. We will play with pace. We will be connected. We will take great shots. And above all else, you will see our passion, love for each other shine through on the basketball court, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you guys at our games, starting tonight at 7 p.m. And as always, go Utes.
And with that, we'll open it up to questions from the media. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand and indicate that you would like to, and Corey Sue will hand you the microphone. We'll start in the back.
Coach, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've worked with Lynn Roberts, and as we all know, she's left behind a legacy. You know, how do you intend to add to her legacy, and what are some of the qualities that you learned from her in these 12 years that you add to your repertoire?
Mm-hmm. I learned a tremendous amount from Lynn, especially from the leadership standpoint. I was at Pacific with her, learned there under her guidance for 2 years, and then we came here, and that was the biggest, to me, display of leadership that I saw. It wasn't about X's and O's. It was really about pouring into the student athletes and giving them the confidence to excel and really overachieve. You know, we walked in here saying, man, it's going to be a tough grind. It's going to be a tough process. But through her leadership, and one I was paying really close attention to and learned from, we were able to win 18 games that first year. And then we started to set that foundation, and we just continued to improve on it and build on it. And again, I'm thankful for her to allow me, or she has allowed me, to be very hands-on, be in the know with a lot of different things in a lot of different areas, a lot of responsibility. And again, that has prepared me for this moment.
Question number 2. Were you more shocked about Lynn Roberts, hiring to the WNBA or your promotion?
Wow, great question. My initial reaction to her breaking the news to me was one of excitement. Like, I was happy for her, gave her a big hug, and then that opened up the unknown. So I probably was more shocked when Mark and Charmel talked to me and said there is no interim tag, and they showed me and talked to me about their belief and confidence in me, and that was a pinch me moment. So probably the latter.
Gavin, how did Lynn or Mark break the news to you? And did you how did it reassuring this group here go in terms of all will be well?
Yeah, I think, Lynn ripped the Band-Aid off, and so did Mark and Charmel. They didn't, sugarcoat things. They basically got down to the bottom line. And, and that's kind of what's needed. I think you got to be straightforward. You got to be honest. You got to be open. And that's what we were with our players as well. In terms of the stability in leadership, they know me. I've recruited each and every one of them. They've heard my voice. Some of them will say too much. But it is what it is. And again, they've showed me over the last couple of days, and not through words, just through actions, that they have the confidence in me. And that's been pretty darn cool.
Gavin, obviously, congratulations. I'm curious, past couple days, what kind of contact have you had with your 2025 recruiting class, and where do you feel like they're at given the massive move midseason or the preseason, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we immediately talked about, our focal point moving forward for the foreseeable future this season was our players and our family. Part of that is the recruiting class that we signed. So we did touch base with them. We made sure that they heard from me. Charmel also gave me an assist in that category. Good job. And we basically just showed who we were. The program is still going to remain the same in terms of Utah basketball resonates with people in college athletics. And I'm not here to rebuild it. I'm not here to change a lot. It is going to continue to be the same brand of Utah basketball that this community, that its fans, alumni has grown to love. And that's what basically our message was to our recruits. Is like, you guys know me. I recruited or had a hand in recruiting you. You have a bunch of teammates waiting for you and believe in you, and we want to keep this thing going in the right direction. So we just made sure that they knew where we were. We made sure that they knew their place in our program moving forward, which is a big part. And we want them to be Utes.
Coach, how would you categorize your relationship with the current players? And to add to what the previous question was, what can the new recruits expect from you as their head coach?
Mm-hmm. Our current players, they know their sides to me, right? There's the family man. There's the guy who tells great jokes all the time. Yeah, see, guys, I got you. And then there's the guy who holds them accountable, and the guy who pushes their buttons to kind of exceed what they think their expectations are. So they know I'm going to coach them hard, but they all know that I love them, and they're part of my family, and they will be forever. So they know that. And forgive me, what was the second part of that?
I wanted to add to that, the upcoming recruits.
Yep.
What can they expect, once
Okay. Yeah. So our recruiting class, what they can expect from me is somebody who's going to lead not only just because of the title, but they're going to be led by my actions. They're going to see what a good family man looks like, what a good leader looks like, somebody who's going to believe in them, get them to, again, exceed what they think their bar is. We're going to try to push that envelope and get them to be the best, not only basketball players, but people, students that they can possibly be. They're going to feel my passion. They're going to feel my enthusiasm for the game of basketball, which I love so much, and I give so much to. So that's the hope, and I'm going to be myself, and I think that's going to just exude and put our program in a good place.
Gavin, there may not be a good answer to this at this point, just considering the timing, but just regarding the rest of the coaching staff, will responsibilities be changing much outside of you taking over as head coach? Will much be changing for these assistants?
No, our coaching staff, love them to death. The cool thing about who we have in the seats that they occupy right now is before they got here, their names came out of my mouth as people we should hire when Lynn asked, like, what do you think? And so I kind of won the lottery in that case. I know who they are. I know their qualities. I know what type of people, what type of coaches, what type of leaders, what type of role models they are to our players. So I'm excited, again, to continue to work with them as we move forward. Now, yes, there is a void. We will work through that hopefully in the next few weeks, but there's no rush to that. Right now, our focus, again, is our players, and what better people to do that than the people who already know them.
Gavin, I'm curious, how did you break the news to your family? What was their reaction? And just kind of walk me through that moment and how special it was.
Well, I'm going to give you a glimpse into our household real quick. So we have some people who kind of listen to our conversations and make sure, they're doing stuff, but they're not. They're listening. So I told Karen to get in the car, and we went in the car, closed the doors, and I told her, you're speaking to the next head coach at the University of Utah. What? And so that's how I broke it to them. I wasn't able to break it to Brea and Brooklyn in person, so I sent them a video message. And it's really cool because Karen told me that their reaction was excitement. Then they realized, wait, what's happening to Auntie Lynn? So we eased it, no, don't worry about Auntie Lynn. She's in a good place too. We're all good. But that was cool to hear.
Gavin, you've alluded to this already. It's 10 years in this position, and it's no secret that you have had a lot of success while you've been here. With that comes potential job opportunities for you, calls from other institutions. What is it about this Utah program that has kept you here and kept you by Lynn's side to prepare you for this moment?
The big picture thing, I think Utah athletics, we have great leadership. We have, we have blue collar mentality in all of our programs that I love taking my family to support and cheer on, and you can see that. Salt Lake City is an amazing city to live in. It's a city, but it doesn't feel too congested as much as construction's going up each and everywhere. It's a great fit. But at the end of the day, it's our players. I wouldn't, and I'm not talking about the basketball piece. I just wouldn't trade some of our players just as people for any other program in the world. So at the end of the day, it's opportunities may present themselves, but the people we have in this program, it makes it really hard to leave. And I am glad I never did leave. I am glad I shut down opportunities that have come my way and just have given everything to this program, and I'm glad and happy.
Gavin, just wanted to go back to Lynn for a moment. Just kind of what are your thoughts about the opportunity for her with the Sparks and kind of what she can do with that team and having that shot at the pros?
Yeah, I'm excited for her. In athletics, everybody strives to be the best. I was an associate coach for a long time. I strive to be a head coach. I envisioned that. I didn't think it'd unfold the way it has, but I've had aspirations. So, I'm excited for her to be a coach and be a leader of young women at the highest level. Like, what she's done for our program with the basketball side of things and her leadership, she's left us in a great place. So I'm excited to watch her do her thing there in LA, and we wish her nothing but the best. The fact that she's going to be living here in Salt Lake City is awesome. There's a saying, tradition never graduates. Well, you don't graduate family either. And we preach it, and people talk it, people print it on shirts, but we don't do that. We just live it. She's going to be at our practices. She's going to be at our games. Yeah, it's just so cool to see her kind of chase after her dreams and her goals, and we're going to be supporting her along the way.
Coach, what would be your overall message to the team and for tonight's game with emotions so high right now?
Come out and spit nails. That is it.
Gavin, as you kind of alluded to, Lynn has played a big part in just your growth as a coach, as a person. How do you imagine you kind of putting your own personal touch on this next phase of your career, but also leaning on Lynn with, the move happening in season and everything?
Yeah, I think, again, we have such a great core group. Our foundation is intact. I have a great staff that's going to pick up the slack and give a little bit more. So we're going to rely on each other. In terms of my legacy and my handprint, footprint, whatever you want to call it, I'm not worried about that. I'm going to be me. The kids know that. They'll be the first to tell me, dude, you're being fake, knock it off. They will, and that's what I love about them. They're authentic, and we give each other crap, and they dish it right back. So, yeah, I'm not worried about the long term. I'm worried about now.
We have one more question.
Oh, gosh.
What about this group of girls makes you excited to take over as head coach?
Put me on the spot there. That's a good one. I do think this group has been resilient, and it's not just over the last few days. It's been just over the last few years. And thanks a lot, G. Last question. Come on. I don't think anything's been given to them. And same with me. So we get it.
With that, thanks everybody. Really appreciate all of you.
Thank you. So who won the bet?